I can also drill down. So maybe I just want to see service desk items. I can simply click on that. You can see it's going to open a new tab with a new view showing me only service desk items. You can see something else that we've included in FootPrints 12. We've now put a prefix in front of the ticket number. Okay? These prefixes are customizable by you. You can specify what you want to use for your prefix, but this is an easy way to identify the different record types. So you can see INC is incident, PR is problem, so on and so forth. So I can easily recognize what type of ticket or request it is. Okay, you can see some of the other views I have here. I also created one for my approval. So here you'll see, here's SR49. That was that iPhone request that Eric Davis just submitted. I'm going to go ahead and approve that so that he can get his iPhone, because I do think he needs it. So while we're on the topic of approvals, I talked about how you can leverage approvals from the service catalog. Well, as an approver, I can make those approvals in a couple different ways. We do have the ability to do email approvals. Okay, so if I am an approver, maybe I'm at a meeting, I'm sitting on the beach, whatever, I can receive those approval requests via email and simply respond to the email with approve, and that will go to the next level of the workflow into an approved state. Okay? Or I can leverage these portals here and make my approvals this way. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this, get Eric Davis his new phone so that he can be a little more productive. Okay, what we'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and open up a new incident, and I'll show you some of the capabilities from a form perspective that the help desk staff will have. Let's go ahead and open up a new incident. We have added some new things to our form. One thing I should specify, just in case I don't get to it later, is we do have the ability within FootPrints version 12 to have multiple forms. Okay, so each workspace, as I mentioned before, facilities, HR, IT, what have you, can have their own custom record types. So in my service desk here, I have a record type of incident, problem. I think I just have incident and problem. And each of those can have their own customized forms. So as I log into a ticket here, a couple things I want to point out. You can see the form looks drastically different than what my end user's form looked like, okay? Because now I'm a help desk technician, and I'm going to put in more information than what I'm going to ask of the user. So as you can see here, I'm leveraging impact and urgency to trigger my priority, okay? So following ITIL best practice here. If I was taking a phone call from Eric Davis, I could simply pop over here, enter Eric Davis's last name. You can leverage any of these fields, or if you want to use a different field like employee ID or something of that nature, you can leverage that. I simply say link to. That's going to pull in Eric Davis's information from whatever source I am using, whether it be Active Directory, LDAP, what have you. So now I've added Eric Davis to this ticket. If I wanted to see any record types that Eric Davis is associated with, I can simply click on that, open, and I can see all the different records that Eric Davis has in the system. Go back to the incident. Okay, you can also see, I'm back to my category trees now. Okay, so again, same dynamic nature of the form. I can continue drilling down, completely dynamic. You can see I have access to the knowledge base right here. So if I need to reference the knowledge base to try to resolve this issue, I could do so to this link. Other thing you can see here, and this goes to the integration that I talked about earlier with our service management and asset management, you can see I've automatically logged an asset that's tagged to Eric Davis. And I was able to gather this asset through my asset management product. So FootPrints Service Corps reached out to FootPrints Asset Corps and said, hey, show me any systems that Eric Davis has a login on. And now it's presented back this asset. Now, if Eric Davis had multiple assets, I would see all those here, and I could simply ask Eric, what device are you calling in about? So as you can see with this asset, down here below, I can see a subset of information, okay, on Eric Davis's asset, things that might be beneficial to the IT department, like, operating system, model, IP address, things of that nature. If I wanted to take it farther, again, leveraging that integration, I can say, show me full details. This is going to pull me into a full full inventory of the hardware attributes on Eric's system, as well as the software that's on his system, some security parameters that he has, and then what I think is very important here is the action history. What the action history is showing me is any action that has been taken on Eric Davis's system from our asset management product. So if you're leveraging our asset management product or solution for patch management, software deployment, things of that nature, any action that's been taken is going to show up here. So a good example of that is maybe Eric's calling in on Wednesday saying my system's running slow. Well, I can look here and see that, oh, you know, maybe we pushed patches on Tuesday night. That might be the first place I want to look to start resolving Eric's issue. Okay? I can also take it farther. I can launch a remote control session right here, again, from within the ticket. I can launch a remote control session, do a screen sharing session with Eric, help him resolve his issue, or again, as I mentioned before, some of those direct access capabilities that I can do in the background while Eric's still working. I could also take it another step further and dive into my advanced actions. Advanced actions are any actions that I have available to me based off my permissions in the Asset Core product or our asset management product. There's thousands of advanced actions you can have within our asset management product. I've only added a few in here, but again, I think these are some that the help desk might find valuable. One is launching a virus scan. Okay, right from within the ticket right here, I can launch this action and do a virus scan on Eric's laptop. I can clear his browser cache. So maybe his system's running slow. He says he's having a hard time browsing the internet because it's running slow. I can clear his cache, or I could also push software to him. Okay. Now with the pushing software, as you can see here, this Adobe Professional, so it is a chargeable licensed software. Maybe I don't want my IT staff just sending that out randomly. Okay, I'm still going to route for approvals. Okay, so I can still leverage that same approval engine through this integration. And then again, as I stated before, any action I take here is going to be noted in the history of the ticket for auditing purposes. Okay, so as you can see, this integration extremely valuable and given your IT staff the tools they need to quickly and efficiently resolve issues. A couple other things I'll point out here. We do have calendar within FootPrints version 12. The calendar is able to sync with Exchange. Okay, so as an IT staff member, I've got my calendar here, and my calendar is going to talk to my Outlook calendar, so I only have one calendar to maintain. Something we've added in the ticket here is I can now set appointments. So maybe I need to follow up with Eric Davis on Friday. I can say create appointment, and now create an appointment in my calendar. Also invite Eric Davis if I want, so it creates it in his calendar for a quick meeting on Friday to make sure everything's still working properly. Okay, so the ability to set calendar appointments, and those would show up in the ticket as well as when I go into my calendar, I would see that incident number and the incident information as well, so I could refer back to that when I do meet up with Eric later on. We've also added in the ability to link items from within the ticket here. So I can link to just about anything I want. A couple of them I have in here is being able to link to problem tickets. So maybe I know that this incident that's coming in is linked to a problem that's being worked on by our problem management group. Okay, I can link this to a ticket that's already created in problem management. Or maybe this is part of a global incident. Okay, maybe our entire company email is down and someone's calling in telling us that their email is not working. If we've already got a ticket created as a global ticket, I can leverage that and actually link this to that global ticket. And you can take that farther. You can link to CIs in your CMDB. You can link to changes if you want. So maybe the issue is linked to something that was caused by a change. You could link it that way as well. Okay, so very powerful, some new capabilities from a form perspective. And we don't need to say that. So next thing I'll show you is the calendar. I'll go ahead and show you the calendar here. So here's the calendar view. As I mentioned before, I guess I never clicked approve on that. So here's a follow-up action item I have tomorrow. Okay, I can see it's linked to a ticket number 75. Also, I can see changes. Okay, so if there's changes that are scheduled in my environment, I can see there's a reboot scheduled. I can see those here as well. I have a personal calendar view, as well as I have the ability to view like a workspace calendar, so everybody sharing a calendar here, as well as like a change calendar, so I can see any changes that are scheduled in my system. Next thing we'll do is we'll look at some of the visualization that we added into FootPrints version 12. Within FootPrints version 12, we've added something called an impact analysis. Okay, that impact analysis can show you the impact of any record type, incident, problem, change, really whatever you want. I created a problem here that's linked to a couple of incidents so I can show you the capabilities of this impact analysis. So if I go into actions here and then show impact analysis, I'm going to see everything that's linked to this problem. So you can see here there's 3 items within my service desk workspace that are tied to this problem. And I can see there's also something from my service portfolio that's tied to it, which is an email service. So if I show this visually, you can see here I have 2 incidents that are tied to a problem, and that problem is tied back to a service of email. Okay? I can see the incident numbers here. I can see the problem number. I can also dig a little deeper. So if I go one level deeper, now it's going to show me, okay, I've got 2 incidents that are tied to a problem. I've got problem related to a service here. That service is made up of 2 email servers, email prod 1, email prod 2. I can also see that I have 2 customers that are tied to these incidents, and I can see those here. And then I can also see that I have 2 SLAs, so a response SLA as well as a resolution SLA tied to this as well. I can continue building this out as deep as I want as long as I have the information in my system. Now, how can you populate the information? There's several different ways. BMC obviously has products that will do that for you. The asset management solution that I talked about earlier, that'll get you a lot of that information. But BMC also has another solution that'll dig a little deeper and actually build out those dependencies for you. Okay, so a very nice way of looking at this. Another new feature that we're pretty proud of is in our visual workflow designer. Okay, this is something that customers have been asking about, and now we've given it to them. So something for the current customers we have on the phone, you can see we have consolidated all of our administration. It is all to this one screen here. You'll find that when you do administer FootPrints, you're not having to go between a couple different areas. Okay, everything is streamlined and in one location. As you can see here, I have my workspaces set up. You can see I have 4 different workspaces. Again, each workspace can have multiple record types, and then those record types can have multiple forms. Also, something new is I now have the ability to have multiple CMDBs, okay, and multiple service portfolios, multiple knowledge bases, multiple address books. And again, I can set those relationships so I can identify what workspaces are connected to what other objects, okay? As well as I can take that a step further, and I can have workspaces that are connected to multiple objects, which is not something we could do in the past. So I'm going to go into my change management workspace here and show you our form designer. So as I go in here, you'll see I only have 1 record type in here because this is the change request area. I do have multiple record types in my service desk workspace. I have incident and problem. If I go into my workflow process here, you can see I have 3 workflows set up. Now, each of these are out of the box. So as I mentioned earlier, we do include out-of-the-box templates. These out-of-the-box templates now include forms, okay, with special fields that follow ITIL best practice, as well as workflows. Okay, so we're now including workflows as part of those out-of-the-box templates.